කුන්ද සමන් පෙති සුවඳ හදා රන්හිරු රැස්සිලි දෙරණ තිබෙන විට මන්දයි තවමත් ළඟට නාවේ රන්වන් මගේ රන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි රන් කිකිලි කුන්ද සමන් පෙති සුවඳ හදා රන්හිරු රැස්සිලි දෙරණ තිබෙන විට මන්දයි තවමත් ළඟට නාවේ රන්වන් මගේ රන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි රන්වන් කිකිලි වැලි තල අතරේ එමිහිත බස්සිනා වැලි තල අතරේ එමිහිත බස්සිනා මේ රංගන නදියේ කයා හිත වැඩ සිට බුදු ගුරුදා සිලෝහිමි මොක්සුවදර මොහොතේ සමාධි භාවනා හිම කඳු වැටියේ සීතල හෙවනේ හිම කඳු වැටියේ සීතල හෙවනේ චන්දන තුරු පීරා ඇදීන මල් මුව රද රසිනේ සමග මුතු කොමල මල පවනේ ගැටිලා පාවෙනා සත්සර නංගලා ටික සෙලවි සත්සර නංගලා ලතාගිය ආලෙහි රස නැඟුණා සරාගී ජීවනා සංගමිත් මෙහෙණි දකුණේ සාකා සංගමිත් මෙහෙණි දකුණේ සාකා සිරිලකගෙන ආදා සිතම තම මහමෙවුනා උයනේ නතයි කොළ වන්නම ලෙස මහබෝ සුනීරි නාදෙනා නාදෙනා ජීවිතයේ තනිමංසල අතරම වෙලා උදෙකලාව සුතුම් හෙළන අසවත සනහා අතීතයේ ඉලහිගිය අතුත රැගෙන යලි වදුනා Kacayam ad mauru talavi mekiyadu saadele ජීවිතයේ දිගු ගමනින් අනාථ වූ Deleeye sattuman yamiru kitela Tinggi kiri subatin kediri arni oke kusumi yali rupanen Nilunu ewan gajah sahanin kamugen yanada Obenuan pahanin yali eliye sagewa Aradhana Kankar himau arne it chandana lapalu devane langare paar at kankar himau arne Chandana lapalu Rangale paava enje Uge namayave Kadale minitalave Tajka pipivelave Kadale minitalave Tarka සිටි වෙලාවේ ලදලියන්නේ සීන අතරේ නැරෙයි ඒ රූපේ ඈත කඳු කර හිමු අරනේ සිත චන්දන ලපලු වෙවනේ ලං ලල්ලේ පාව එන්නේ ඔහුගේ නාමයනේ රනිල් කලවන් උළුරයෙන් රනිල් කලවන් උළුරයෙන් හසුන් ළමේ මුද කරන්නේ අදේ මෝරන ආදරේ සඳේ සොමි ගුණ යාකේ අදේ මෝරන ආදරේ සඳේ සොමි ගුණ යාකේ සරාගී නිල් නුවන් බඳුනින් නොරා හිටින්නේ ඈත කඳු කර හිමව් අරනේ සිත චන්දන ලපලු වෙවනේ රංගල්ේ ආව එන්නේ ඔහුගේ නාමය
Indo komalata nirilut daun
අතර බල සිටි මුංගිරාරන විතර බල සිටි විධර පන්සසාරන බාලොලිලා ලොලිලාඳ ඉලින්දේ මාලන් දැන් එන්නේ දැන්දිනු මට මුංගරුපා
චන්දන කුංකුමයෙන් තදිරුම්පා
රංගි රගින් පායයි දිවිපා මං වද දැන් සරු සුන්දරූපා
චන්දෝමා පිළිඳේ නුඹ නාදම් ඉන්දු කුමලත නිරිඳුත දාවුන්
කන අතු දිග සොඳ තලු කන්නා
ඉඟි බිඟි කරමින් දමනත වන්නා
වත් සිටි පැසරෙන් ළඟ කැඳවන්නා
ඔන්න බිලිඳු දිලවුන් පැනයන්නා චන්දෝ මා පිළිදේ නුඹ නාදන් ඉන්දෝ කුමලත් නිරිඳුත දාවුන්
අවරෙන් පෙර ගසක නගින්නා
උදා වෙන්න පළමුව හඬලන්නා
සදා පැකව් වට සාරා කන්නා
ඔන්න බිලිඳු සවුලිඳු හඬලන්නා චන්දෝ මා පිළිදේ නුඹ නාදන් ඉන්දෝ කොමලත් නිරිඳුත දාවුන් චන්දෝ මා පිළිදේ නුඹ නාදන් ඉන්දෝ කොමලත් නිරිඳුත දාවුන් මාල පබළුවෙල් කරවටලන්නට තෝඩු අරුංගල් තෑගිගෙනෙන්නට දවසක් වේවිලු බිනර මහේ
කෝල කොමල ඉඟි මුරින් සිනාසේ ඉන් හඳින් කොඳුරමින් එදාකි හිරිමල් සීපක කාට ඇසේ गिरा को बेयो कंटू गई वेव मते गिरा को बेयो कंटू गई वेव मते
ආල කතන්දර රහස් කියනවලු උන්නුන් අපි ගැන කතා කරනවලු
ලං ලං
ගීලා මාල පබළුවැල් කරවටලන්නට තෝඩු අරුංගල් තෑගිගෙනෙන්නට දවසක් වේවිලු දින
Good morning, students of the 2017-18 batch, parents and invitees. Welcome to the new entrants welcome ceremony for the 2017 and 18 batch of Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya. The ceremonial procession leading the Vice Chancellor and the inaugural lecturer has now left the Dean's office premises and will arrive in this venue shortly. Please rise when the procession enters the hall. Also, please rise for the lighting of the oil lamp and remain standing till the university anthem is over. To start the proceedings of this new entrants welcome ceremony, I would like to invite the following dignitaries, invitees and representatives for the traditional lighting of the oil lamp. The Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya, Professor Upul B. Disanayaka, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Parakrama Karunaratna, Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Harendra De Silva, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Professor Asiri Abe Gunawardana, Dean, Faculty of Agriculture, Professor Gamini Pushpakumara, Dean, Faculty of Allied Health Sciences, Professor Mahinda Vikramaratna, Dean, Faculty of Arts, Professor O.G. Dayaratna Banda, Dean, Faculty of Dental Sciences, Dr. Vajra Jayasinghe, Dean, Faculty of Engineering, Professor Leenananda Rajapaksha, Dean, Faculty of Science, Professor Saluka R. Kodituakku, Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Animal Sciences, Professor H.B.S. Aryaratna, Proctor, University of Peradeniya, Professor Gamini Hitinayaka, Acting Registrar, University of Peradeniya, Mr. R.V.S.P. Rajapaksha, Bursar, University of Peradeniya, Mr. E.A.R.M. Edirisinghe, Chairperson, Student Affairs Committee, Dr. Manoji Patirage, Senior Assistant Registrar, Faculty of Medicine, Ms. Samanthi Hera, Senior Assistant Bursar, Faculty of Medicine, Mrs. W.H.A.D. Dilrukshi, President, Medical Faculty Students Union, Mr. Dilip Ashan, and representing the 2017-18 batch, the student with the highest Z score, Mr. K.A.S.U. Karagala. Thank you. The University Anthem.
Peradeniya sarsavi janani, Peradeniya sarsavi janani. Peradeniya sarsavi janani, Peradeniya sarsavi janani. Mahaveli kumariya kurulavi kutumke kuluve kumarujata Sanahamu kitu gotini, Peradeniya sarsavi janani, Peradeniya sarsavi janani. Peradeniya sarsavi janani.
Please be seated. Now I would like to invite Professor Asiri Abegunawardena, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, Vice Chancellor, Professor Upul B. Disanayake. Our guest speaker today, Professor Harendra De Silva and Mrs. Dula De Silva, Deans of the other faculties of University of Peradeniya, Registrar, Bursar, and Proctor of the University of Peradeniya, Chief Marshal, Bursar, the members of the academic faculty of University of Faculty of Medicine, SAR, and the non-academic staff of the Faculty of Medicine, parents, students, and my dear students. I am delighted and privileged to congratulate every single one of you on your entry to this most noble profession. To welcome you, we welcome you with open arms into our faculty, which we firmly believe as the best faculty to learn medicine in Sri Lanka. Today, you take a little step, which will become a giant leap in the quest towards transforming every one of you to be a doctor in the years to come. Medical education challenges even the best and the brightest minds to learn the science of medicine together with the art of compassionate care. As the incumbent dean of the faculty, I can confidently say the Faculty of Medicine, University of Peradeniya, continues to impart knowledge and the skills of humane healing through the innovative educational techniques to meet the requirements and the aspirations of the 21st century. Our faculty is composed of teachers who are passionate about their work and always poised to make a significant contribution to medicine, healthcare, and translational research. We are dedicated to provide all students with high-quality educational experience that is rigorous and committed to inculcate the finest principles of professionalism and advocacy. In the recent years, our medical school has become even better place to pursue useful learning experience. With the modernized facilities, a redesigned curriculum, and with early clinical exposure and new academic partnerships, we are looking at a dazzling future. However, at the present time, our faculty is facing a major challenge of having 7 batches of students at any given time. This is due to the disruption of academic activities that took place during the recent past, which were completely beyond our control. The faculty has to now look for innovative and out-of-box thinking processes if we are to clear this backlog of students. There is every reason to believe that this will be an acid test for all our academic staff members. But in the same vein, I have no reservations whatsoever in being quite confident that they will rise to the occasion to ensure that you will complete your degree in the stipulated 5 years. We treat each batch of new entrants with a focused vision towards producing a future generation would be a credit to this august institution. We hope that they would be the cream of medical leaders who would be well prepared to practice their chosen specialities to meet the needs of Sri Lankan society. Finally, I take this opportunity to reassure all parents that you are leaving your child behind in safe hands. We are proud to say that in this faculty, there is no ragging whatsoever, and we exercise zero tolerance for such instances. The entire faculty staff will be vigilant on this, and there will be a help desk available if you encounter any difficulties. However, I like to warn all parents that your children remain vulnerable to outside influences which are beyond our control, and hence, please keep a close watch on them throughout the medical career while in the university, and report to us if there is any suspicion, and we will take care of it. I would like to address in Sinhalese for the parents, for the benefit of the parents. ඔබගේ දායබර දෙමාපියනි, ඔබගේ දරුවා අද අපට බාර දී යන්නේ ඉතාමත් සුරක්ෂිත ස්ථානයක. මෙම ෆැකල්ටිගේ පීඨයේ නවක වදය ඇත්තෙම නැහැ. නවක වදය අපි පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ. එම නිසා ඔබ සතුටු වෙන්න ඕනේ ඔබේ දරුවා මෙම පීඨයට පැමිණියට. නමුත් අපිට සමහර දේවල් අපේ පාලනයේ නැහැ. විශේෂයෙන්ම පීඨයෙන් පිට. ඒ නිසා ඔබගේ දරුවා පිළිබඳව ඉතාමත් අවධානයෙන් සිටින්න මෙම ෆැකල්ටියෙන් පිටවනතුරු. வணக்கம்.
அன்பிற்குரிய பெற்றோர்களே, பேராதனை பல்கலைக்கழக மருத்துவ பீடத்திற்கு உங்களை அன்புடன் வரவேற்கிறேன். உங்கள் பிள்ளை எங்கள் அரவணைப்பில் பாதுகாப்பாக இருப்பார் என்பதை உறுதி அளிக்கிறேன். இப்பீடத்தில் பகடிவதை என்ற பேச்சுக்கே இடமில்லை. எனினும் உங்கள் பிள்ளைக்கு புறச்சூழலால் ஏற்படும் பாதிப்புகள் குறித்து அவதானமாக இருங்கள். எம்மால் இயன்ற உதவிகளை உங்கள் பிள்ளைக்கு வழங்க நாம் தயாராக உள்ளோம். நன்றி.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Professor Pulvi Disanayaka, the Vice Chancellor, University of Peradeniya, to address the gathering.
Good morning to everybody. A special speaker, guest speaker, Dean of the Faculty, all other deans, acting registrar, bursar, all other officials from the university, and members, professors, senior professors, head of the departments, and all other members of the staff, newcomers, and parents. First of all, I'll take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this very important occasion where you are going to enter into you are going to start your professional life. And at the same time, I would like to congratulate all of you who secured a place in the field of medicine, especially to enter into a faculty of medicine. That is one thing. That is your merit. I think you have selected to University of Peradeniya. That is also a merit which you would have gathered in your last birth. Not from the merit that you have gained from this birth, you would have come to the Faculty of Medicine. To come to Peradeniya, that merit which comes from the last birth, I feel. That means you are really fortunate. So you have entered to the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Peradeniya. Now, today, of course, is a very special day for both you and your parents. Why it is special? Now you are entering into a profession which is a well-recognized profession, what you call it, noble profession, where you know the direction that you are going to go. You know the job that you are going to get. You know what you are going to do just after passing out. Not like an ordinary graduate who doesn't know what he will take up in the future in the society. Therefore, that's why you are more responsible than others. By knowing your destination, you have to train yourself. You have to acquire qualities necessary for your profession from today onwards. That is very important. I think you have a talented staff, renowned staff, well-recognized staff, that they will definitely direct you, guide you, help you to reach your objectives. But main role is yours. Nobody can, they can only direct you. But it's your duty to acquire these knowledge, skills, and competencies which are necessary for your future career. Special thing is you are going to always look after sick people. In other words, you will be the incumbents of the health of people of this country. That is a very big responsibility, and for which you have to inculcate in you. There are large number of qualities which I think you will learn during your first year or during your process of 5 years. And I am not going to list them out. I think you would have heard them by already, and within this induction period also you will hear and again and again. That is, you have what you have to inculcate. They will say sympathy, empathy, reliability, trustworthiness, and competency, creativity, all these things. I can list about 100 words right there. So, but whatever it is, at last, what we expect, what society expects from. And at the same time, there is one special thing that you have to remind. So, for you all, your education, there is someone paying for it. That is public of this country. So everything will happen because of taxpayers' money. If they, by chance, if they stop paying us, we all are in a very difficult situation. Therefore, you have a bigger responsibility and duty. In turn, you have to pay back that to the society. And you have to serve the country. That is the most important thing of free education. Even though it says free education, this is not free. You have to, someone has to pay, that is public of this country, which always we forget. When you demand something, you are not demanding from the dean. When you demand something, you are not demanding from the vice chancellor. You are demanding it from the public. So for public, money only comes to give all these facilities. That is one side of that. And then special thing in Peradeniya is you will get an opportunity to mingle with, work with a large group of students, about 12,500 to 13,000 students at any given time. They are from various ethnic groups. They are from various social groups. They are from various religious groups, and so on and so forth, which is a good opportunity to develop your stature. So we can interact with them, exchange your views and ideas, which will strengthen you in the future than getting isolated in the faculty. This opportunity you will never get again. It is because of, as I said, of your merit that you have gathered in the last world. Use them very well. At the same time, University of Peradeniya provides various facilities for you all, including facilities for recreation, sports, and drama, so on and so forth. Those who are, especially those who are having extra talents, they can develop those talents as well. And then you use the maximum, take the maximum advantage of the university, all these physical facilities, and try to be a comprehensive person when you leave the university in 5 or 5.5 years time. That is the most important. At the same time, early in the morning, myself and Dean went and met parents. Just I wanted to talk to them about 2-3 minutes at least, because we are addressing them through electronic media or using technology, which is not enough, I thought. And anyway, my dear parents, now today is one of the happiest days in your life. But in another 2 or 3 hours time, or 4 or 5 hours time, you are going to leave your son or your daughter or your child in a place where you are not familiar with, where your child is not familiar with. So I can understand the mixed feelings that you are having at this moment. Any parent is like that. But as the dean correctly said, you have nothing to worry. There is a staff as well as we have a system to look after your child in Peradeniya. Therefore, you must not get excited about that, but still, as earlier mentioned, there is an issue. I must say at this moment, of course, all of them, the sad part of it, all of them who are entering today, we are not sure of. There is no guarantee that all of them are going to get MBBS and go as doctors. So that is the signal I want to give in this particular moment, because This is the first day I'm meeting you. If other than the convocation, if I get a chance to meet you, that is not a good thing. That is for a punishment, nothing else. Therefore, you must remember that you must not get caught with university is not a sacred place. It is not different from the other part of the country. There are various, uncontrolled extra forces operating around university, in and out. Therefore, we must look after your child. My main request from the parents, as you did for last 13 years, as you did for last 20 years of your daughter's or for son's life, please look after them very closely for another 5 years. Otherwise, all the dreams you have had so far, you are going to lose. I have no hesitation, even though this is a happy moment, I must say that frankly, because there are enough examples in the university. Therefore, look after them. Discipline is the most important thing, which is Faculty of Medicine. I know that they are very keen. I'm not going to say that others are not keen, but still, Faculty of Medicine, first thing comes to our mind is discipline. They are well-disciplined students, but behave within that territories. Don't try to be extraordinary. So you will be in trouble then. That is one of the messages that I want to send in this mod. Other than that, now, government is very strict. You would have seen last week's papers. Set of names came up, belongs to university academics, who have violated the bonds. Likewise, within another 2 or 3 weeks' time, there will be another list coming in the papers. These are not our decisions. These are government decisions. In papers, those students who have committed, got punishments due because of their disciplinary issues, they will be displayed nationally, and not only that, especially for medical, dental, veterinary, and allied health sciences students, these ones will be tagged with their registration. If you get caught for something, you will not get the registration, which is not on yet, but it will come very soon. Therefore, please remember, especially doctors, you can't make mistakes. You can't, you must maintain your discipline. So those are the things that I want to, bad side of the story. But anyway, once again, I would like to wish you a very successful, very happy stay at University of Peradeniya. And at the end of the 5 years, I hope you will all qualify and go back to the country, serve the people who have sponsored you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next will be the screening of a video that highlights the life of undergraduates at Faculty of Medicine, Peradeniya, and also some of the recent achievements by our students and academic staff members. Kandy, the hill capital of Sri Lanka, a city steeped in history and culture. It is also the home of Sri Lanka's premier university, the University of Peradeniya. Surrounded by the beautiful hills of Hantana and set in lush green gardens, our university is known to be one of the most picturesque places in the world. In fact, recently, University of Peradeniya was ranked within the top 10 most beautiful universities in the world. The University of Peradeniya is the foremost institute of higher education in the country, ranking number 1 in Sri Lanka in the Webometric ranking. It consists of 9 faculties and 3 postgraduate institutes. The Faculty of Medicine at Peradeniya was founded in 1962. It is the leading medical school in the country. We offer excellent training and educational opportunities to over 1,000 medical students at a given time. The faculty consists of over 16 departments and several units which are involved in both undergraduate and postgraduate training, patient care, and research activities. The Faculty of Medicine has produced the best performers in the country at the final MBBS examination, with Peradeniya graduates becoming the first in the common merit list on numerous occasions in the recent years. The highest achievement so far was reached in 2017, when the All-Ireland first, second and third positions were all secured by Peradeniya graduates. A dedicated staff of nearly 100 highly qualified lecturers and professors guide the students in learning throughout the course. The faculty staff, being active researchers, have secured many presidential awards for research excellence every year since its inception. The CVCD Excellence Award for the most outstanding senior researcher and young researcher in health sciences were won by two of our academic staff members recently. The training is intense and the workload is quite heavy, but the faculty provides an extensive library and e-library facilities, as well as Wi-Fi areas and dedicated study areas to help provide an atmosphere that is conducive to learning in very pleasant surroundings. Opportunities for relaxation are also there, both inside the faculty as well as within the university. A fully equipped gymnasium, a swimming pool, and recreational sports grounds are freely available to all students. Students are also encouraged to continue any extracurricular activities that they did in school, as well as develop new interests. Sporting events, including cricket, basketball, rugby, and badminton matches, and swimming meets are held annually within the faculty and at university level. Drama, singing, and other aesthetic competitions are also held every year. There, all students have the opportunity to take part in any activity of their choice. The university is also a place of many interesting events, with dramas at the Edirivira Sarath Chandra Open Air Theatre, films at the Arts Theatre, exhibitions, and discussions on numerous topics being open to all who are interested. Every batch of students also has the opportunity to organize events in the faculty and show their talents and abilities to all. Peradeniya is also a beautiful place to walk around, with some of the most enchanting scenery in the country. Exploring the campus in tours or in groups is a much-loved part of being a student here. It will be an enriching experience, both professionally and personally. And at the end of your studentship, you will be a graduate from Peradeniya, a competent, caring, socially responsible doctor, ready and able to face the challenges of the world. Now I would like to invite Professor Asiri Abbe Gunawardena, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, to introduce the inaugural lecturer, Professor Harendra De Silva, Professor Emeritus, University of Colombo.
It's indeed a great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Professor Harendra De Silva. Professor Harendra De Silva graduated in medicine from University of Colombo. He blasted his way to the scientific publications by producing 4 papers in index journals while yet being an intern medical officer. I consider myself really fortunate to be able to evaluate his application to Professor of Colombo in pediatrics. It was indeed a real inspiration for me as well. He continued his quest to become a very academic pediatrician. He quickly got his research degree from University of Birmingham and continued his research work to become professor of pediatrics in University of Ruhr. Then he became the professor of pediatrics in University of Ragama, and then went on to be the professor of pediatrics in University of Colombo. He has held so many administrative posts that one could hold as a pediatrician. President of the College of Pediatricians, chairman of the Board of Study in Pediatrics, chairman of the Child Protection Society, he was the founder chairman, and many more, too many to name. But he is well known for his bravery as a fighter against injustice. That is his trademark. He fought against ragging 48 years ago. He was a real fighter against child abuse, and I know that even there was death threats against him. I mean, his achievements are far too many for me to sort of name in this forum. But I'm sure his lecture today will be a great source of inspiration, not only for the students who are gathered here, but even for our academic staff who are here to mark this occasion. Over to you, Professor Harendra.
The Vice Chancellor, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Deans of other faculties, academic staff, as well as heads of non-academic staff. First, let me thank the University of Peradeniya for having invited me to speak to you here today. I know today is a very important day for you, a memorable day, an exciting day. So let me first congratulate you in the words of Sir William Osler. The choice of calling, which means profession, which offers a combination of intellectual and moral interests found in no other profession. This is maybe a beginning of a journey. However, a journey is a thing that you start at one place, it's a passage from one place to another, or from youth to maturity, or through time. However, what you're going to go through is going to be more of an odyssey. The odyssey is a long, complicated journey, often a quest. You want to achieve something for a short or a long-term goal, and it may be personal or shared and often changing. It may be a fulfilling and a meaningful spiritual or even a psychological journey. So we are starting on this odyssey today. You may go through the second MB, third MB, final, MBBS, get a job, marry, children, specialize, or even migrate. Yeah, let's face reality. First of all, you are here because of motivation. You are motivated to be a doctor. So this motivation is through inspiration. And you may have been inspired by your parents who are here today, a relative or family, may not be a movie star or a sports star, and of course, probably not a politician, but these are people whom people get motivated. Community leaders, yes, maybe, and your teacher. So with that, you need commitment. That is the most important, especially for medical students. And then with that commitment comes hard work. Just because you are committed, it doesn't mean that you're going to end up getting whatever. And it may come through dreams, through sacrifice, through ability, through positive thinking, which is the most critical of everything. Think positive all the time. You need to be able to focus on things, on your studies, and then entrepreneurship. You should be able to multitask. That means doing a few things at the same time. And also, you need lateral thinking as well as abstract thinking. And then you need to acquire knowledge. Then you need to acquire skills of examining patients maybe and communicating with patients. And then the most important is the correct attitude, which we cannot give to you in a lecture. And then only will you succeed. The final achievement be success. It's important to realize that success doesn't just come and find you. It's not a lucky thing. You have to go out and get it. First of all, I think you all are all excited, but you don't know what you are in for. I can remember as a medical student, it was a daunting task for me trying to remember the Greek names or the Roman names of all these bones and tuberosities and all sorts of things. And we were never told about study methods at that time. But I'm just going to go through some of those things which will be helpful to you. In Sri Lanka, we have an educational method of knowledge-based ability, that is the ability to reproduce. Swallow, vomit. Versus logical thinking processes which we don't make use of, which I'm also addressing the teachers at this point. For example, we can write, I didn't want to put any medical topics because you all are not mature enough for that. You may be asked to write an essay on the Sri Lankan economy. On the other hand, you can write a critical analysis of the downfall of the Sri Lankan economy. Is something else that it allows a lot of logical thinking to come in. So that is how we should, of course, for the teachers, we should get the children involved. And for example, I'm going to the Australian entry to medical schools. They don't do the physics, chemistry, biology. They may do English, Chinese, and in future Sinhalese, mathematics, medical students. Entry to medical school, mathematics, logic, and of course biology is also there. So remember, you don't have to go through that process. And of course, compulsory community service, because that is something that will develop your attitudes properly. Now this is a cartoon. I know you can't see the little letters, but I'm going to magnify it. It says that this is the factual recall method. We are always, this thing we tell the dogs also to do that. Sit, stay, heel, or fetch. Right? Never think or innovate. Never be yourself, Asiri. In your system, we want students limitation in memory, what we can do is what is called chunking. For example, it is a term that is referring to the process of taking individual pieces of information or chunks and grouping them in larger units, right? And by grouping, you can improve the amount of information you can remember. I will give some example. Everybody does chunking. Everybody. Even your grandfather knows about chunking, because if you take a telephone number, are you going to remember these 10 digits? No. What you will remember is +94, which is Sri Lanka. 777 is dialogue. Even that you don't have to remember. What you need to remember is only 2. 885098. That's it. So you are actually, although you are remembering 10 digits, you are remembering only maybe 2 digits. Two items of information. Right? So that is what is chunking. So I will also talk about, if you are looking at the diseases of a patient, you don't have to get highly excited about what I'm going to say now, but, right, a disease can be due to infective processes. You all have done biology, so you know that. It can be an inherited process, or it may be a congenital process. It may be autoimmune, that is your body reacting against your own. It may be a malignant, which is a cancer, or it may be drugs, right? So already we have chunked the disease processes. Now that chunk can be further reduced in further chunks, such as infective can be viral, bacterial, fungal, parasitic, and then each of these can be further chunked, right? And each of these things can be chunked, and the viral can be chunked into rotavirus, coronavirus, and so on and so forth. E-Tech, E-Pec, Shigella, and so on and so forth. So you remember about 100 things through a process of chunking, which you start at the first level. And then each one, then you will remember. So each of these will be important. Then there are what are called retrieval cues. I'm sure all of you are using this, but maybe unconscious. I used to do that when I was a student, but probably didn't understand why I was doing it. The retrieval cues are, it's a hint or a prompt or a signal that you have to remember something. I'll give a very simple thing, because some people think that pushing information into your head over and over again is going to be the best way. It may not be, although it helps at times. But, it's like hitting a head with a hammer. Now, what is retrieval is the process of recalling knowledge, information in the long-term memory that is there, where it is encoded to recall. It is encoded in your long-term memory to recall with a hint, right? And a retrieval cue may be a signal or a prompt, which may be a name of a person, an event, or a mnemonic that unlocks the long-term memory. Now, I'll give a few examples of very simple cues which you use day to day, not in medicine. For example, you have to remember the name of Paranavitana. You keep on forgetting. So all you have to do is you remember his old cow, his old house, and then remember only the Vitana part of it. And so he becomes Paranavitana. Or, some people find these people are using Uber and zip. Sometimes they can't remember what the zip thing is, so remember a zip. Then Ibikawa, the inhaler medicine, is no longer available. And if you really want to remember this, think of a Ibika, right? So these are retrieval cues. And this is a very interesting thing which I did as a student, which I didn't realize at that point. But now these are the two dengue carrying mosquitoes, Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. Now how to differentiate? Now your parasitology gurus will ask minute question where this patch is or this long thing is and all that they will ask. So you have to remember. I don't know whether they are that now, but so what we did was, we remembered the name Albert Gunasekara, who was one of our senior students. He was a dark, tall fellow, right? He's a physician today. And so we remember him bare-bodied and we used to think of him having a white line on his back, and also the albopictus also has a white line on his back. So we connected the two and connected the Albert to albopictus. So these are retrieval cues. It's a very complicated retrieval cue, but it's a very good example of a retrieval cue. So you have to start making use of that. Then there are mnemonics. For example, the day of onset of a febrile onset of rash in a febrile child, which is the day that the rash happens in a child with fever. German small children scratch marks terribly. So I won't go into detail. You forget about clinicals. You haven't even started your pre-clinicals. So it's like you have it that if you remember the top one, then you remember German means first day, scarlet fever, smallpox, second day, chicken pox, right? Second day, measles on fourth day, and typhus, typhoid, so on. So you remember that mnemonic. I'm going to come back to mnemonics. Then what is also critical, which has been very part of my success in my academic career, is to make short notes. And I have taught others, including my sons, to do that, and they have been successful. Now, when you go to your block, right, you will have a long segment like this, and you will get scared. Carpal bones are organized into two groups, a proximal and a distal row, and so on and so forth. Now, this actually, I went berserk. I thought I was going mad. And then all you have to do is to highlight or underline the important content. And when you do that, only this is left. Rest of it is nonsense. So that is a short note that you write. Right? I may not be very accurate in this, but still, anatomists might contest with me, but still, right? So this is what it is. This is all you need. And then you can supplement it with a diagram. So you have a book, and then you put this short note, maybe a diagram, right? And also add a mnemonic to it, such as, she looks too pretty, try to catch her. She means scaphoid, looks means lunate, right? Two means triquetrum, and so on. But I must warn you, there are dirty mnemonics in the block, only meant for the boys. So you have this book, you write it down, but at the same time, today's day and age, we are all having iPads and iTabs and Samsungs and so on and so forth. You can have a digital notebook as well. So you can get additional information from the internet and get all this from the carpal bones. So how are you going to forget anything if you remember like this? So you can make either onto the manual notebook you paste it, or have a digital notebook. Then there are learning styles. And the learning styles can be, you can use, you have your eyes, you have, of course, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and your touch. So some of these faculties can be made use of. Of course, you don't lick, but to learn, but still, right? So you can use all these things. Therefore, we should augment our learning processes with PowerPoint, what I'm doing now, right? You can make your own PowerPoints with your lecture that you get. Animations, graphic illustrations, charts which can be your own, handouts with illustrations, of course, for the teachers, right? Audio recordings, which, I mean, I remember when I was a student, there was a guy who actually came from Peradeniya to Colombo and stayed for 10 years to pass out. He used to record, those are the initial days of a spool recorder, Grundig recorder, and he used to record the lectures, and then he keep under the pillow and then sleep. No wonder he had to stay for 10 years, right? So similarly, without the teacher's knowledge, you may be able to do it, but I'll talk about it later. And then there are what are called text-to-speech conversions, right? Now, this is another long thing about atopy, which is an allergic system. Instead of learning all this in terms of words, you can also have graphic representation. asthma is a part of this. I am actually translating this phrase or this paragraph into a diagram. You can call it eczema, allergies, catarrh or allergic rhinitis, which is atopy. So if you have this diagram, you can always write this essay, no problem. And then this is something that I read when I was Chairman Child Protection Authority, violence in society, domestic violence, violence against children are all connected. Then there is violence of war, that time the war was there, the media violence, and alcohol and drugs. So now if you have this diagram, which affects the child at the end of it, right? If you have this diagram, you can write a chapter on violence in society, right? You just have to improve it through that chunking. What I'm doing here is also for sort of chunking in terms of a graphic. So this is another thing. I had to go off this now for a minute. Right. Sound error. Now there is a thing called speech to text to speech, and in that
TOPI refers to the genetic tendency to develop allergic diseases such as allergic rhinitis, asthma, and atopic dermatitis, eczema. Atopy is typically associated with heightened immune responses to common allergens.
So this is a way of you listening to something which is in text on a computer, which you can do, and the new systems enable you to do that. There is something called a speech bubble in Word and in PowerPoint as well. All these programs will have that. Now, it would be useful for teachers, now I'm talking to the teachers, to make PowerPoint presentations with animations and graphics so that people remember, to allow students to photograph slides without disturbing others. Again, with the flashes going on, it might be a problem, but the faculty have to deal. I'm just giving ideas. Make presentations available in the computer center. I know a lot of you are doing it, but I would prefer it to be a PDF version because people can otherwise manipulate it. And allow students to record, provided the lecturer don't talk about unnecessary things, including politics. Now, it's also important to realize the Honorable Vice Chancellor mentioned about not all being able to go through the process. Because there are certain reasons why people, because you have jumped a huge hurdle to come in here. If you can't get out of here, there's something wrong. What is wrong? You may be dyslexic. I will talk a little bit on that. You may have Asperger's disease or autistic spectrum disorder, right? A lot of people have it, right? Maybe myself as well, right? Then depression due to the stress. And also some of you will have mental disorders, which is nothing, you are not to be blamed. And none of these conditions have any relationship to your intelligence. Because your performance may be poor because of these things, but it has nothing to do with your intelligence. Now, this is what dyslexia is. Some people, when they read, they will see the words like this in different ways. Sometimes you can't read in dyslexia. And this is another way in which you see the words go up and down and reverse and mirror images, and all those things can be part of dyslexia. Then students themselves should try to identify their own weaknesses. Then friends will be able to identify the weaknesses of their friends. And then there should be teachers who will also understand, and there should be designated teachers who would find ways of helping. And I beg Asiri to develop a system, including doing research to look at the prevalence of these disorders among the poor performers so that we can help them. Because there's a lot of international literature, and of course there is no need to be ashamed of it because it's something that is you, and parents also should be able to talk to the teachers sometimes if there is a need. Now comes the million-dollar question, the youth. All of you, I presume, are youth. Nobody is 40 or 45. But adolescence or youth is complicated by abstract thinking processes. They think in not laterally so much, very abstract. And there is a lot of parental authority and societal pressures. There is a lot of stress from parents. Do it, do it, do it, do it. You have to do it. And then there is also anti-authority feeling, which comes from the parental stress. You are anti-parents, therefore you are anti-teachers as well. And there is peer pressure, others who are pushing you into certain things, as well as to perform better than other peers. We have labile emotions. People will cry for the slightest thing, or you will get angry for the slightest thing. And amongst other, there are other features which I'm not going to list here. Now, it is easy to convince or brainwash idealistic youth. Basically, you are idealistic. You want everything to be ideal, not the reality, right? And they can use historical stories, talk about bravery, retribution, palingenism, and so on. Religion, race, and uncertain future are main aspects that will be manipulated by people who need power. So youth violence has a huge drain on our economy, not only due to immediate effects, but also due to long-term consequences on mental health of that person, not the country. We see this type of scene every day. Violence, physical or mental violence. And then we also get involved in this type of activity, right? And face these consequences. We are facing these consequences. We are asking for trouble. But what is important to realize is who is manipulating you, who is using you as a puppet. First of all, you'll find we are shouting freedom, right, as students or doctors. But then the unions are puppeteering you. And who's puppeteering the union? The local politicians. And who's puppeteering the local politicians? The international politicians. This time, you know, the famous guy who is there, right? So this is the process. And you are only the itta, right? All right? Okay, you have to understand that. So trauma faced during childhood manifesting as violence in youth is often manipulated by others for their political or personal gain. Ragging is violence. You have to understand. Ragging is abuse. Now these are some pictures I got from the internet. Ragging involves abuse, humiliation, or harassment of new entrants, especially when it comes to psychological or physical torture. Ragging causes physical injuries, including permanent injuries, long-term psychological issues, dropping out of university, and suicide. We have history of that. Now, if you take a child as you are abused or bullied at home, then you become a bully in school or get bullied in school, which have long-term psychological issues. Then, as you are a senior, you find that the juniors are a threat to you. You want to maintain the senior hierarchy. We are the seniors, you are the juniors, so you listen to us, right? That is there. So to do that, they make use of some of the psychological issues they have faced as children, and they start ragging you, which leads to psychological and physical and injury and suicide. Now, there is a important concept called the Stockholm syndrome, where physical or psychological abuse, kindness, so-called kindness, involves some sort of a bonding. In other words, they rag you, humiliate you, and then go to the canteen and buy you a plain tea. Right? That is the bonding process, right? That is a kindness. Or they give their notes to you, right? And so you won't even give evidence against them at any inquiry. That's a process. Now, what is important, right? You have to realize is that when in children, child abuse, maybe sexual abusers, adults who offer children support also while abusing them, which leads to this Stockholm bonding, right? And therefore, the children won't give evidence against the adult abusers in court. That can happen. On the other hand, the Stockholm syndrome of kindness will also be used to recruit you into various political organizations. So they rag you, humiliate you, and they are also kind to you and then take you into their classes or whatever that they have, right? And that would mean they start ragging the next year, which is a vicious cycle. You get ragged, you rag next year. And then there will be a few who hates that and start an anti-ragging campaign, which I did 48 years ago, probably the first in history. Remember that there is an act, a criminal act, where ragging is classified as a crime, imprisonable for 2 years of 5 years, 10 years, or even 5 years, depending on the thing. So you better know that, be aware of that, and please, not for today, but in a year's time, don't become a bully or abuser next year when you are seniors, please. Good governance. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the country or governance or whatever, right? Now, good governance in Sinhalese means Yahapalani, right? I'm not saying anything against a government or a political party. I'm just trying to say what good governance is, okay? Please don't misunderstand me. In good governance, people have to be transparent. They have to obey the rule of the law. So in the university, you can't do hanky-panky things or hangy-hora things, right? That is transparency. Rule of the law, there are rules in the university, as the Vice Chancellor told you, there are rules and regulations. You have to stick to it. You can't break those rules. And then you have to be accountable. So if you break those laws, if you are going to get suspended or sacked from the university, you better be able to face it. All right? So that is the main thing about good governance. In the middle of it, you get what is called equality, where different social groups or religious groups or ethnic groups, there should be equality and inclusiveness, as well as participative and responses, where you also can put the input into the same thing. Of course, there will be monitoring. So the proctor is there to monitor. Your other academic staff and doing exams is a way of monitoring you. All right? So, as I told you, I'm not talking about politics, right? So, everybody has to be transparent in actions and accountable to it and the rule. And when I say everybody, it has to be everybody. And, for example, I'm giving examples. We as individuals should be transparent to ourselves with our parents, or the parents should be transparent to the sibling, the children, right? Partner, and so on and so forth, or society. Then we should act within the norms of family law, family norms, or government laws. We should be accountable for whatever wrong we have done, either in the family or in society or in government. So we have to be also transparent where we are working. So if you take the pyramid, right, the bottom is you and I, the middle is the administrative processes like the dean and the vice chancellor, and the top would be the top, right? So what will happen is, in that you have to have good governance at every level. You can't have good governance only at the bottom. You have to be at top also, right? And therefore there should be a monitoring process, right? And then make people accountable, right? That level also there will be another monitoring process from top. Of course, the top, here I am going to talk about only the politicians here, which I have not deleted, but there should be a process, right? And in fact, in this country, we have dismantled all the monitoring processes of politicians. That's why it doesn't happen. Of course, at the elections, the accountability will be met. We all should have a vision and a mission. Your vision may be to get MBBS. You may want to be a pediatrician, or you want to maybe be a GP. So that's a vision. And then your mission is going through this process. But you can have other missions as well after you qualify or while you are in the medical school. Right? Each one should have a vision which is able to project towards a time-bound mission. For example, exams are on this day, so it should be time-bound, your mission. So you can fantasize things, imagine things, dream about things, but realism is important. And also you should be able to focus on without too much of distraction. And you should have enough facts or knowledge, which is what you study. Right? And you should be able to analyze your needs, your weaknesses and strengths. If you are weak in a particular subject, you should be able to study more on that. Right? But not neglected where you are strong on, and so on. You need to have a strategic plan. You need to have gain knowledge and develop skills. And above all, correct attitudes. Akalpa are a must. It's useful to dream, to fantasize, but realism with the feet on the ground is much more important than your dreams. To illustrate the concept of making fantasies into reality, I'll just give a few of my examples, my personal odyssey. When you embark on a mission, Churchill said, you will never reach your destination if you stop and throw stones at every dog that barks. So there will be a lot of dogs that bark at you, including your batchmates, maybe sometimes, occasionally your teachers maybe, but maybe your relations, your gummy fellows, right? Who will bark? Don't try to stop and start throwing stones. Forget about that. Ignore them. And the first mission was, I got a donation of a computer in 1992. I did demographic research in the ward, and I gave the Gaul Medical Association oration the next year. And then one of the facts was that there was a very high neonatal mortality. I lobbied and got JICA funding of $75,000 in 1995, 3 years after I started the project. And then I set up the first pediatric intensive care unit in the south and the second for the country. We also found a high cardiac mortality under 5, and we contacted a Leicester cardiac team, Dr. Ranjit Liyanagi and Mr. Richard Fermin in 1996, and we started the first pediatric cardiac surgery program in the country, specific pediatric cardiac surgery in Gaul, not in Colombo. And these are pictures of the neonatal intensive care unit. And these are pictures of the foreign team that came and worked as I was much younger. I had more hair on my head. And of course, the president at that time came and paid tribute to it. And these are some politicians as well who also get credit for it. And then there was this. So these are two main projects I have done when I was in Gaul. And then this battered baby syndrome, which was known earlier, which was in 1992, right? It was denied in Sri Lanka because we all said we are in a Dharmishta society, no child abuse. And of course, the first medical report was by us. I was only the third author, right? But it was the first description. I was then got involved and saw more and more patients who were physically beaten and with broken bones. And then I found that there's a high proportion of sexual abuse among children. And then I wrote this book, right? This is part of my odyssey, part of my voyage towards whatever I had to achieve. And then with agitation, a presidential task force was appointed. A National Child Protection Authority was proposed. It was established, and then obtained a grant from the British High Commission, right? These are paper articles. Again, a mission with a vision, it says, right? And that is how the National Child Protection Authority was established, through the initial research that was done. Right? So all of you can have a small, big, or mega, and some of you may want to be the president of the country or the minister of health. Now, in terms of future as a doctor, when you become a doctor, wherever the art of medicine is loved, this is what Hippocrates said, there is also love for humanity. You understand what I'm saying? You may want a happy life, want to be highly educated, perfect, rich, and a popular doctor. But being rich and powerful and a doctor in demand may make you unconsciously arrogant, egoistic, self-centered, and then harmful to others. And narcissism is an extreme form of your self-involvement or admiration of yourself and the lack of regard for others. Now, don't be that, right? You can achieve all these things, but not that. And therefore, personal success is important, money is useful, personal happiness is critical, but a meaningful life, a fulfilling life, and a mindful life is also important. And these are three main objectives. A meaningful life means a realistic life with feet on the ground, humble with correct attitudes, be mindful of your work, attitudes, and also attitudes to colleagues and patients, share your skills with others, have a positive impact on society, be content of your contributions, and when you are skillful, able to communicate and confide and trust others, you will have pressure from the other side, from the family, health care, businessmen, and need for money, which will make you wanted and in demand, and greed, which can lead to unethical commercialization of a profession. Unethical, not commercialization, unethical commercialization. Therefore, there is another saying, as a doctor, the people will trust you, confide in you, and appreciate your efforts. You can do amazing things for people if you don't let the system get you down, what I demonstrated earlier. Do not unethically commercialize your profession or politicize your profession. We come to where we started, or this is the end of that odyssey that we started. It's the end of my lecture as well, right? But do not forget your roots, where you came from, your village, your relations, your friends, and society that you came from. Don't forget them. Your parents who nurtured for you, right? There are medical students who don't want their parents to come to medical school to meet them because they are ashamed of them, right? Don't do that. Don't forget your parents. They cared for you from the time of conception. And your teachers, past and future, who have fertilized your minds. And last, the society that made it all possible. Because as the Vice Chancellor said, it's the society that is spending on your education. Therefore, we have no moral right to refuse treatment by going on strike, right, against the society. Because it's a society that is spent on you, so you can't refuse to treat society. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking speech. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Manoj Patirage, Chairperson, Student Affairs Committee, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning. The Vice Chancellor, Professor Pulbi Disanayaka, Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Professor Asiri Abegunawardena, Deans of the other faculties, Professor Harindra De Silva, the inaugural lecturer, and Madam De Silva, special invitees, members of the staff, students, and parents of the batch of 17-18. It is my pleasant task to thank all of you who presence here made this event a success. Vice Chancellor, sir, We are very grateful to you for gracing this ceremony despite your busy schedule, though you had to leave little early. Your presence here added a glamour to the event. Professor Harendra De Silva, our inaugural lecturer today, thank you so much for that inspiring lecture. I'm sure it made a positive impact on the students who are starting their journey of medicine today at Peradeniya. Madam De Silva, I would like to thank you for gracing this occasion. I wish to thank the deans of all faculties, all the academic staff members, acting registrar, Bursa, proctor of the university, chief marshal, directors of hospitals, and other special invitees and distinguished guests who accepted our invitation and came today to grace this occasion. My special thanks go to the Senior Assistant Registrar, Senior Assistant Bursa, and the staff of the Dean's Office of the Faculty of Medicine for their support. I wish to express my gratitude to the other non-academic staff members who helped in registration of new entrants. Next, my sincere thanks go to the members of the Student Affairs Committee who helped me in numerous ways from the beginning to the last moment. I would like to thank the security officers, maintenance and health center staff, and the cleaning services for their commitment. My special thanks go to the Technical Resource Center staff of the faculty who undertook the organization of audio-visual aspect of this program. Finally, I wish to thank all my teachers and colleagues in the academic staff who took time off from their work to be here today to welcome the new batch of students. My dear students of 17-18 batch, you are starting a new journey in one of the most beautiful universities in the world. So I hope you will get the maximum benefit out of it to succeed in your academic career, blended with sweet memories. Have a good day.
Thank you, madam. That brings us to the end of this welcome ceremony. Please rise for the national anthem and remain standing while the ceremonial procession leaves the hall.